Hi, my name is Jason Van Veldhuizen, founder of Precision Striking. And in this video, we're going to go over everything you need to know to have an excellent lead hook. There are three components to a great lead hook. First, we're going to cover technique. What are all the components of good technique for an excellent lead hook? And how do you adjust them for different situations? Next, we're going to cover tactics. How do you integrate the rest of your boxing with your lead hook so that you can land it more effectively? We're going to cover head movement, defense, footwork, and how to integrate other punches. And finally, we're going to cover training. What sort of methods do you implement in your daily training so that you can have an excellent lead hook? So whether the lead hook is a strong suit to your game or something that you need to improve upon, I'm confident that if you implement the methods taught in this video into your daily training, that you'll be well on your way to having a lead hook that is one of the most effective tools in your boxing arsenal. In this section, we're going to cover tactics, how to integrate the rest of your boxing to set up the lead hook, or to use the lead hook and integrate it with other stuff that you're working on, that you're trying to land. In this section, I'm going to go over almost everything I know that you can integrate with the lead hook. You may know a few other things that are part of your game, and that's great. It's not just enough to know how to integrate other techniques with your lead hook, it's important to practice it. So every section, every component in this section is something to know. It's something that you should take around and practice. So even though we may talk about faking and setting up the lead hook or jabbing and setting up the lead hook, I urge you to take around every workout if you're focusing on this and just work on something specific, even if it's something that you know already. So one of the most important things to keep your opponent guessing is what you are going to attack with and when. And critical to that is fakes. So let's say on the bag, if I'm moving around the bag, I can have a bunch of different fakes to set up the hook. The first thing that's most common is I want to fake that jab. If I've been throwing the jab, my opponent's been blocking it, I've been keeping their hand busy, I want to maybe fake that jab and then throw the lead hook and then come around with the hook. Try to get their hand away from their face. Faking the jab is one option. Another option that works really well is faking the right hand. You're there, and when you throw a right hand, your body comes through. So you may turn that right shoulder through to fake it, and then come with your lead hook. So here, come through with your lead hook. And there are all kinds of fakes that you can throw. You may want to fake that you're going to throw an uppercut in close and come around with the hook over top. There are a number of different things that you can throw to set it up. But keep fakes on your mind, and the best way to do it is just to work around where you're on the bag, faking, throwing, faking, and then throwing your lead hook, setting up the lead hook off of all kinds of fakes, faking head movement, faking other punches, faking jabs, popping it in, throwing for real, faking, and going again. Having fakes as part of your tactics is critical to making yourself more unpredictable. Now, what's also important to set up the lead hook is the other punches that you'll be throwing to set up the lead hook. And it's not going to change too much, but some punches are better in different ranges, and there are a few key components to setting things up effectively. One is, if you're going to set up the hook off the jab, I find it more effective, and what you want to do is leave the hand out there and use the body to turn the shot through. So if you're going to throw that jab, bring the hand back just a little bit and use the body to turn to bring it through. You don't want this, all that full range of motion. You're going to be better off throwing a jab and then just coming around the hand and throwing it right away. So off the jab, quick, bring it back, and then go again. So get used to driving and relaxing and turning that body through. Off of the other shots, let's say right hand or uppercut, things will be a little bit different because of range. Often with the right hand, you're getting a full long range shot. And this is where it's important with the long range hook. You can come in, But you don't always want to have to bring your body in and take up all the energy to bring your body in if your arm can do the job. So if you're going to throw long range right hands, get comfortable with the long range lead hook. So that's one aspect to know, setting up the lead hook off the right hand. Another thing that's important with the other punches is your rhythm and your timing. Short beats. So you want to watch out for this. These slow beats, you want them to come together quicker, especially if you're throwing only 2 or 3 punches. Those quick beats, short time between punches are going to be harder for your opponent to deal with. Uppercut. Uppercut is usually thrown close to medium range. So if you're throwing that uppercut, you want to get used to turning your body to throw that short to mid-range lead hook. And again, that's where range is so important. Range and tactics go hand in hand. You throw that uppercut to the body or uppercut to the chin, hook to the body, you're in close, you use your body to rotate to throw that hook right through. So critical to using other punches to set up your lead hook, quick beats, and be aware of the range and the position you're in before you throw the lead hook. With the jab, you're in a different position. With the uppercut, with the straight right, you're in a different position. If you throw an overhand right with a slip, you may also be in a tilted position like so. And so you have to really push yourself to come back into range because your body's on that little bit of a tilt. And that might cost you more time and energy. So when setting up your lead hook, be aware of the position you're in when you're throwing other punches to set it up, because that's going to affect the range and how quickly you can get the lead hook off. So one very important tactic that we touched on earlier is the double lead hook and components to working a good double lead hook. And part of that I think is this vertical hand position. So if I'm in front of the bag and I throw the hook, my body comes through. If I want to throw another hook quickly, what I need to be able to do is relax as quickly as I can so that I can refire that shot. Part of that is I throw the hook, my body relaxes, my hand relaxes, and then I can engage my body again with this waist twist that we talked about earlier. This waist twist, I turn my waist into the shot, I relax the hand, I relax my waist, and I come back to re-engage. And also, the shoulder is actually coming through this motion. So it's the waist and shoulder coming through. Of course, if you want, you can limit the waist movement, you'll have less power. Shoulder coming through with the double hook. But essentially the goal is to twist quickly at the waist, bring the shoulder through, relax as much as you can so that you can quickly go through again. Here I go with the double hook. Relaxing that waist so that I can come through. Now, with the double hook, you can throw it a couple different ways. One, if the opponent has their guard up, you can use this first hook and sort of pull it through. It doesn't necessarily have to be a pure bludgeoning shot. You use it, even with a fist closed, to pull, to sort of scoop through and pull it towards you, to pull that guard off of your opponent. So here, with this first hook, as I'm going to pull it through, sort of like this, to take the guard off. It doesn't have to be an open hand, it can be a closed fist, but your goal is to just get that guard off and then come through with the next shot. So tactically, this is one way you can use the double hook, with double lead hook, other than just doubling up on the same side, which is very effective. You remove that hand a little bit. So from here, the first hook, let's say you throw the right hand, the first hook is a pull. You pull through, and then the second one is your hard one. Here, pulling through, and a bludgeon with the second shot. So one way to use the double left hook, double lead hook, is to pull with the first one and then come through with the second one. So we've covered the double hook, some of the components of the double hook, making sure to twist the body, relax back, come through with the hand and relax back, and on the double hook, possibly pulling the first one to bludgeon with the second one. This is all assuming that you're in one place. Most commonly or very often, you're gonna have to use the double hook while moving, or you can use it while moving. So we're gonna go over how to use the double hook or even triple hook moving forward and backward. Most of the time in a boxing situation, your opponent is gonna be moving. They won't always be in one place. And if you are always moving forward with left, right punches, becomes very predictable. Working the multiple lead hook while moving forward or backwards is an excellent tactic for catching your opponent, chasing them down, throwing them off guard. The key to it is footwork. So integrating your footwork with your lead hook to really catch an opponent who's retreating. Let's say in this case, we're going to be moving forward. The technique again is exactly what we did before with going from out of range to in range. That's why it's so important to know all these different ranges, because you'll be transitioning through them. And not only will you be intentionally transitioning, you might find yourself in one you don't want to be in, and you have to adapt. If I'm going forward with the lead hook, again, it comes down to this back skip as I go forward. I back skip and throw, and then I'm going to set, and then I'm going to back skip again, and then set. Now, it all happens a lot faster than that. If I'm going forward here with the double and triple left hook, it's sort of almost like a little gallop. Back, back, front, back, front. And you see how my body is throwing and recoiling, throwing and recoiling. Same motion like we did, but now integrating this step. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit faster. If I go here, moving forward, or I throw it off the right hand, you're going to need to have that little back skip to come through. Multiple left hooks moving forward, multiple lead hooks moving forward is a different type of footwork than if you're throwing opposite left-right punches. So it's important to know this footwork, know how to work that coil so that you can set up this type of attack. Again, we'll go over it one more time. Here, as I turn, the back foot skips in, and then I reset. Back foot skips, and then I reset. Back foot skips, and then I reset. Quickly, I go here, and then come through with those back skips. Moving with the double hook backward is a different type of movement. And again, this is the type of movement that shows you don't always necessarily have to have textbook technique. If you're moving back with the hook, from here, the opponent is coming towards you. If you have longer range than them, you want to maintain that range. As you make them fall short, you stay at your ideal range. So the first thing is to step back. Step back. Now, if you don't want to throw power, then again, it comes just the body and the shoulder. I step back, step back, step back. If I wanted to really put a power shot in, you step back, and then you can pivot to really drive that shot home. If you pivot, you will be pretty much stuck there. It'll be harder to keep moving. So again, we're working the double or triple lead hook going back. We're not going to use the pivot so much unless it's going to be the last shot in the combo. So I go back. This is the footwork. It's a step, 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 and with the upper body together, step, turn, relax, step, turn, relax, step, turn, relax. The faster you want to go, the shorter the motions have to be. I'm going to go quick. It's quick little motions. I go slow. Then I can have stronger, more powerful motions, explosive movements if I need it. So again, to recap, moving backward with the lead hook. I move that back foot first. Back, turn. I use as much of my body as I need, depending on how much power I want, depending on how much speed I want. I relax back, step, coil, relax, step, coil, relax, step, coil. If I want full power, I step and come through with full power. Moving backward with multiple lead hooks, you can also create angles off of moving back that way. Angles are a critical part of tactics. Basically setting yourself up so that your two hands are blazing on your opponent and they really only have one hand of offense. You want to get to either one side of your opponent by setting up angles. Using the multiple left hook, moving back, you can set up angles while keeping your opponent busy. There are a few different ones you can use. If you want to fade away from the opponent's right hand, rear hand, you can step back this way instead of stepping straight back, I'm gonna fade this way. Start to fade out that way. Using this hand to guard. Stepping back at angles. Here I start, and then create that angle moving back this way. From there I can set up other offense, coming back in. Once I've created that angle, going back, you can keep going again if you wanted to. It's less common to move that way, but you might have an opponent that has a hard time moving to their left. And so if you're able to move back to your right and create the angles, and you have a powerful right hand, you can walk them straight into that. The other option is to fade back and create an angle to your left, back this way. When you do this, this is more defensive. It sort of sets you up for a one-time shot or a couple light shots, because whenever you move this way, your body and your power is fading away from your opponent. So from here, this way, the opponent moves at me, I take a step back just behind me. We're gonna go over a pivot later, but this is not a pivot. This is sort of a step back, but instead of straight back, it's a little bit behind you. I go back and turn. And then I go again behind myself, back and turn, and back and turn. So all the while, I'm taking a slight angle and fading it back this way. If I go quicker, I'm just taking my backwards movement and creating that angle this way. That's gonna get me away from my opponent. It's gonna be a bit safer. Here the opponent comes, and then you can set up your counter shots, moving at angles back like this. So the double hook, the double lead hook, stationary, forward and backward. You can also work it moving backwards at angles. Moving to the right, if you want to set up a power shot. Moving back into your left, if you want to fade out, be a little bit safer. Generally, you'll be moving back if you have a longer range than your opponent. While they fall short of their range, you maintain your range and still hit your target.